We are live. And I'm going to thank you so much for being here on my podcast, Beyond Balance, or if you are live in my Facebook group, Life Transformed. It's nice to see you today. We're on Zoom. I'm here with my friend Lindsay Coombs, and I'm so freaking excited to share her story because she is an incredible, incredible woman. I remember, so I met Lindsay a couple of years ago in a mastermind with Del Delgado, and I was just blown away by her story. Like, she told her story of how she was wrongly committed of a crime that she'll talk a little bit about today and had to go to prison, and what she's done with that life experience to actually help other people. Like, it absolutely blows me away. The mindset that you took out of that, as opposed to being a victim, you really chose to be a victor and chose to help people through all of this. So I would love for you to share your story, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how you're helping women through this process, because I just think you're an incredible human being, Lindsay, and I just appreciate you being here so.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always so fun to talk with you. But yes, and hello, I'm Lindsay Combs. I am originally from Pennsylvania, Erie, PA, and made my way to San Diego, California. I've been a server bartender my whole life. So it was easy for me to move around, jump around, and get jobs wherever I wanted. And I loved doing that. I loved meeting new people. I got, other jobs out of that. I worked in advertising and marketing. I was actually worked for a bail bondsman in San Diego.
That's hilarious.
An attorney liaison, which was super fun. I basically just schmoozed and boozed as lawyers to, so they kept calling when their clients would get in trouble. It was super fun. But just incredible people, which got me into, what happened. And me going to prison, basically. I met
what the hell?
I actually said it yesterday because I don't even remember what happened. Oh, a girl I worked with, her water heater had broken, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I just got a text that I got my water heater fixed. I cannot wait to go home and take a warm shower." And I said, "Don't ever go to prison." And she was like, "I don't plan on it. Why?" And I was like, "Oh, no reason." I was like, "I don't have time to talk about it. We're trying to get out of here." But oh my gosh, it was really funny. Anyways. So that was how this all happened, really. I met somebody in San Diego, really right after I had first moved there, and didn't stay in contact with, but they knew what I had done, my whole backstory of bartending and serving and being in the industry and loving it. And this person's dream was to open up a soul food restaurant on the beach in Mexico. It would be a gold mine. You probably know that now. Like,
if there was taco stands
on the beach that had fried chicken and macaroni and cheese and all that, something
all the American food, right? All the American food.
So when people are down there at the beach and drinking all day, like, and they're walking past, like whatever. So he was like, "No, my family thinks I'm crazy." So fast forward a few years later, did I want to meet up with him for dinner because he had a business opportunity? Obviously, I assumed. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you opened the restaurant. You need a bartender." Like, "Yeah, let's meet up." Well, he wanted my help he didn't know anything about the industry, and could I help him? I'm like, yeah, like on my days off, is that cool? Because I'm not going to like take away from my income because I know I'm not going to get paid, but maybe something will come out of this. Well, lo and behold, they kind of had different, what's the word?
Expectations.
Yeah. So his finance.
By the way, I'm glad that we can laugh through this story. Like, it shows your true nature that we can laugh.
I remember telling it before and I would cry. Like, I remember the first time I talked to you about it. I'm like, like crying. But yeah, now I just kind of laugh because it's just like so ridiculous. And so much good came out of it. Yeah. And it's unbelievable. Oh, no worries. But they, his investors, that's what they were, his investors. Which I got a kind of a weird vibe from because I did not speak Spanish. So I'm going to Mexico like 1 or 2 days a week, which, it was literally a 10 to 15 minute drive. I lived in downtown San Diego. So TJ is literally, you hit Chula Vista and then the border is next.
You're in Tijuana in 15 minutes.
Close, literally, yeah. And you can be at the beach in like 25 minutes. So
wow.
It was a simple drive. Kind of stunk coming back through the border sometimes, depending on the time of day, but whatever. So one day I'm on my way back I was saying I kind of got a weird vibe from them because I feel like they would talk behind my back kind of a thing, but I'm also like a tall white female. They're
right
all,
in Mexico.
yeah. So like,
Yeah.
who knows? They're probably just talking shit behind my back. I don't know. But I got a vibe after a couple of weeks that they did some weird stuff because just the way they walked around town, like I feel like people knew them. Like they had like really nice vehicles and stuff. And so I kind of said one day at lunch, like, whatever you guys are meeting about or talking about, like, if anything like illegal, like drugs, anything like that ever come up, like, do not involve me. Like, I'm good. Please, never. No problem. No problemo. Never. Because I crossed the border on November the 30th, 2016. To be pulled over to secondary, which wasn't a big deal, especially because Trump had just gotten elected. So I knew that the border and everything was going to be like way more like hyped up. Then they came and got me with handcuffs. So,
oh my God.
I knew something was wrong, and there was. They had put, I found out later, 24 kilos of narcotics in the bumper of my, at the time, dream car, my Lexus convertible.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, 24 kilos. I was looking at 10 to life at first. 10 to life because they were popping me with like conspiracy charges, which I didn't even know what that meant. I literally didn't know what conspiracy. I was like, conspiracy. Like I was thinking of something. And they were like, yeah, like you were gonna sell it. And I was like, oh my gosh, crazy. I know, like wild. But funny how things happen. Because I actually thought it was a joke, Christina. Like,
right.
Like some of my regulars at work, I waited on them and I was like, who's working? Like they're messing with me hardcore, but this is like a little much because my dog is hungry. Like, get me out of here. Right. But then when I realized it was real and when I went to like real prison, I was like, there has to be a reason. Like, I don't know what it is, but there has to be a reason. Right. I got an attorney pro bono. Like he saw me in court that day at my arraignment hearing. He said that he saw my face, like when they actually because they didn't actually tell me like what I was in trouble for. They just said what the charge was. So you go all night long and through all these interrogations, not really knowing.
Like, what? And you're like, what could I be in trouble for? Thinking like what did I do?
They want you to answer questions. And I'm literally like, cocaine is a narcotic, right? And they're looking at me like, you're lying. And I'm like, I'm being dead serious. Like, give me all the booze you want. But besides that, like, I'm good. I live in a state where weed is legal and I haven't smoked it since I was like 18. Like I don't do stuff like that. Like I'm from
they assume that you do. Oh, yeah. I was in that bartending space for a while and people would come and ask me like where they could get those things. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't do that. And they'd be like, come on. And I'm like, no, like really, I have no idea how you
literally. Yeah. I'm literally here to make money.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I'm literally here to make cash. That's what I'm here for.
Like it's no. But yeah, so my attorney did me pro bono. Has to be a reason, right? Yeah. Fast forward a few months because I get bailed out and I'm not allowed to leave like the county or the state or something. I wasn't going anywhere. But they test the drugs, which I didn't know that either. He calls me, I'm grocery shopping at Grocery Outlet on 11th and Market in downtown San Diego. And he tells me I might want to step outside. So I'm petrified. I was like, do I have to come in now? Like what happened?
Yeah.
16 kilos of the 24 kilos of drugs were fake.
What? Fake. Like, why would they do that? I don't even understand why they
I don't even know if they were selling fake drugs or if they were trying to set me up because there was 4.1 kilos. They said I had to have at least 4 kilos to still be charged. So they said it was 4.1. I don't know. Of coke. So that's how I still got charged. But like all of the big charges got dropped. Has to be a reason, right? So fast forward a year and a half, I go to my sentencing and the judge said, she's like, I have to give you time. Cause I was like, do you really have to send me there? Like, I'm gonna learn.
You see me? Like, I don't belong here. This is not for me.
So she sentenced me to 10 months, I thought I was going to prison. So I'm like thinking like I'm going to be behind bars, like freaking out, claustrophobic. And I get there, Christina, and it's like a camp. I was at and I'm not saying it wasn't bad because it sucked.
Right.
But like we had actually Orange is the New Black. I didn't even see that show until after I got out. But like that whole first season, even those first couple of days, exactly what you see and how that setup is exactly like a place where I was at.
Okay.
Very,
Crazy.
very like low security, it was still a ride. But
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine like your first night going to sleep there and being like, what in the world? Like, really? Come on. Especially because you were so blindsided by it and you didn't even know what you're charged with. This was like just something that you were not expecting.
And then when they found out, when they realized that I really wasn't part of the cartel, they didn't answer my questions anymore. So like when I asked, like, well, like why were they fake, or were they selling fake drugs, or the person who got me involved tried contacting me and I was petrified. So I let them know. They never answered the phone. Like they never did anything. So I never had answers. It was like the weirdest thing.
So they just, once they realized that you were not really of use to them, off you went.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So now you spent your 10 months there, and what was that like? Like what, these are women, and you said it's low security, so it's like not like big crimes that have happened.
Yeah, we were all there. It was all nonviolent crimes.
Okay.
So it was all, it's federal. It was federal prison. So it was mostly, like fraud and tax evasion and real estate stuff, or drugs, like transporting drugs, selling drugs. But we were all nonviolent offenders. There was about 300 of us that was at that facility.
Okay. And so tell me about that experience and kind of what happened there, because I know that it really inspired you to create something that would connect families to their loved ones, right?
Yeah.
Families to because it's lonely, man. Like I can't even imagine how lonely that was.
And here's the thing, like, so I get there, and if you don't have money, like if you're my sister or my mom if no one's sending me money on my books, so we call it, I can't even email. I can't make a phone call. I can't buy food from commissary or socks or anything like that. Like you have to have money. So if you don't have anybody that's helping you, like, cause when someone gets in trouble and someone goes to prison or anything, like people like, bye. Like,
they don't want anything to do with it.
I don't want anything to do with you. Yeah. You sit in there, you rot, and you think about what you did, which is kind of like a horrible thing. But so a lot of these women that happened to them. Fortunately, I had my very immediate family. I had a lot of people who shunned me out, most, but I had like my immediate family. And I saw really in almost all of these women, the guilt, the hurt, the shame, the fear. I mean, every single negative vibe, mood, feeling you can imagine, you saw it everywhere on everybody's faces. They sat inside, not really fighting, because there wasn't really a lot of fights there at all, but there was a lot of hurt and eating and not doing things. So at first, it's funny, I was like, I got to get out of here. I do not want to be around this. I'm only here for 10 months. So
I just got to keep my mind right.
Yep. So we had a dirt track, and I walked and I walked and I walked. And like literally morning, noon, and night, unless I had to be somewhere, because eventually I got a job and I worked in the mornings. So like we have certain things that we have to, be back to home, whatever for. But other than that, I'm walking. I'm out of there. Well, slowly the ladies started walking with me. And honestly, I think at first they were like, what is that new chick doing?
Just walking by herself in circles?
Well, I'm like, did they think I had cigarettes or something? Or like, did I know something they didn't? Because they were like, this is not the first time you've done time before. And I'm like, no, it definitely is. Like, I've never been in trouble. And they were like, well, how do you have like this mindset? Like you just have this positive. First of all, I had to fake it for a little bit. I shouldn't say fake it, faith it. Because I didn't want them to see that I could be vulnerable like that. Because
totally.
I was there wasn't many white women there. I was the minority there. So I did not want to be one to be picked on,
Yeah.
But as I'm walking and they start having conversations with me, more and more women started walking. And on the 4th of July was kind of where it hit me. We were all out there walking, and it was the first holiday. And everybody's like, I wonder what my family's doing. Or normally we're here, normally we're there. And it was like a really kind of like a sad night. Like everybody was in a weird mood. But down in this valley, we were in Victorville, California. So we were at the top of this mountain in the middle of the desert, but there was this valley called Apple Valley. And 4th of July, you randomly see all these fireworks shows,
Fireworks,
right? Like down the valley. And the COs, the correction officers working that night, were super cool. And because it was getting a little bit later to when we were supposed to be going in for count and lights out and things like that. But they let us watch the fireworks. And I mean, everybody, I mean, it was so emotional. Everybody's bawling. And I mean, 4th of July is such a fun holiday, right? Like with family and friends. And that night I went to bed and I was like, wow, like that was something, right? And I'm walking the next day and I'm piecing together because I mean, more and more people were walking with me. They were loving it. They felt better, all these things. I'm like, that's what I'm here for. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Don't cry. You're going to make me cry.
I'm going to cry. I can't do it.
But
stay there. I emptied them.
This is the reason. This is like, there has to be a reason. This is the reason. There was no program. There was nothing for these women to get their heads right. We're all going home from this place. We're all nonviolent offenders. We all are on our way out from this place.
Right.
There's nothing here for us to get anybody, to get me over, even though I didn't know that I did it. I did it. Like it happened. Some of these ladies have been transporting drugs their whole lives. It's all they knew. They didn't have school past freaking 6th grade. And this is how they fed their families. It's what they knew to be life.
Right.
It didn't have to be life. And I wanted to show them that. So I created a dang program and they let me, and it was based on walking. And we had like even though Christina, I had no idea what I was doing. I had my brother email me any info on mindset and positivity and walking that he could. And I literally just put together this, I did it week to week. And it was the biggest program that they'd ever had at that facility at the BOP. And they loved it. And it legit changed lives. The walking and the mindset. And it was incredible. I
still can't believe that you walked into that situation and you're just like, I don't belong here, but you didn't make yourself known that way. That wasn't how people felt about you. No. They felt like you did belong, but you had, this is what is so important about leadership is the influence that you had because of who you were. Mm-hmm. Right. And that influence allowed you to help other people pull out of their, habits. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Yeah. I didn't want them to know per se that I didn't, because I wanted to be liked. I didn't want them because oh, you don't like me? You're going to act like that? Then they would have an attitude towards me. But deep down, I just didn't want to get in that mindset. So kind of what I thought that I was pulling myself away from is what brought the whole
everybody together.
Like how wild. And I knew as we're doing this, because I made everybody a log. Like I literally took sheets of paper, I cut them, I stapled them on the side, and I made walking logs. And it had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And like I said, everybody's education level was different. So however they wanted to log their laps, we used stones and they would log everything. And at the end of the week, they'd turn it into me. I'd add everything up because so many people, 86 women were doing the course. So I had to split it. So I did housing units against each other and made it a competition. And then it really turned up.
I bet.
Then it really turned up the heat. So, and every Monday after I would tally it up and I had my chart for, for myself, for both, I would cut out a motivational quote for them. And you would have thought, Christina, some of these women, oh my gosh, it was so impactful to me because what just that one quote did, for each woman.
You gave them hope.
No one's ever said anything to me like that. Or like literally no one's ever talked to me like this. Like and you would see it hanging in their lockers or some of them would keep them in their pockets. Like, wow, it was unreal. So I knew, I didn't know how, but I'm like, I'm going to carry this on the outs. Because what started happening is our family and friends on the outside would walk with us. So we would always meet up at the track, like to walk together after dinner by 6:00. Right. So every night by 6, there was quite a few women, depending on the season and the TV shows. Because we would start at 6 and then come like 8:00, 7:00. You'd see it dissipate because they'd be watching their shows. But still, they would still get like an hour and a half in every night. And some ladies would walk with me at 5:00 in the morning. No joke. It was incredible. But our families would walk with us. So like, for instance, my best friend in there, Liz, her family lived in San Juan Capistrano, like LA area. her kids, when they would leave the horse stables, would walk at 6 o'clock. So they were walking with us. Like my program there was called Walk for Life. Now I've evolved it to Walk It Out, because we were walking it out, our feelings
walking
and what
it out
happened, and we were getting ready to walk up out of there.
That's right.
Yeah. So I knew I wanted to create something for the outside, but I was like, I don't know how, but eventually I'm doing it.
I'm so happy that we connected through Danelle and that this has all evolved through that process, because this is necessary. This is necessary to support the people that we love, wrongly accused or rightly accused, whatever it is. Like, it's still, you still love those people and you want to show them support. And the fact that you were walking at 6 and the family was walking outside and you knew that you were doing it together, that energy and that intention means something and does something to a person's psyche, because they don't feel alone. Yep. And so tell me a little bit more about what you've got going on now with Walk It Out. And I think it's #WeWalkAt6.
Yep. #WeWalkAt6. So I did it. It was very hard. Virginia, because now I live in Virginia, and it was incredibly difficult to get a 501c3 here. But through Danelle, I met an amazing nonprofit woman and she got it done. So we're called the Walk It Out Foundation. And literally, I'm about to have my log. I made a book. I've evolved it from what I made in prison. Actually, the pages are right here. I have it taped on my wall. I look at it constantly. But so that's about to be published so that I can have this program, because people need this program. Everyday people like me and you, people who have never been to prison, it's a gratitude and walking journal. Like a 90-day program that literally, once you start, you're never going to want to stop. Because when you start feeling better and being outside and walking and getting your mind out, whatever, that's one huge part of it. So we focus on the incarcerated. But what I've seen from being out and from starting Walk It Out, oh my gosh, the family on the outside and the children involved. Yeah. Like, who's helping them? Who's helping them to pick up the pieces and the trauma that child, every family is different. Some kids don't know, they're not told, they miss their mom or their dad or their sister or whatever. And they're just expected to go to school and act normal and not get picked on and do all the things. So Walk It Out Foundation is really honing in on the children in the communities. Right now, I'm getting ready. I just finished up my stuff. I'm partnering with another nonprofit. We're doing a big backpack drive and school supply drive that we're getting ready to do, because the kids are starting school next month already. That's crazy. It's been hard. It's been a struggle, but I am never stopping. You know what I mean? Starting a nonprofit is wild. But
starting any business is so wild, and people think that they're not cut out for it. It's like, no, everybody actually has to go through the same challenges. Oh, yeah. There's just some people that decide to overcome.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
It's been, and go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to tell you that I wear my laces and my shoes all the time, and people will comment like, "Oh my God, I love your laces." I'm like, "Oh my God, you got to hear the story behind these laces. Like, this is amazing."
I know.
And so I want you to talk a little bit about that too.
The laces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So while I was in prison, there was a lady in prison for nonprofits.
The irony is so good, by the way.
I'm like, not even kidding. I love her. We were like really, really good friends. She's the one that helped me do my program there. So when I told her, I'm like, I've got to do this on the outs. You know what I mean? Like, I have got to, like, the impact of this. I mean, my shoes are hanging at the gym in the prison. Last I knew anyways, they were. Maybe someone took them down by now. I don't know. But they're like, who's this Lindsay Combs chick? I don't know. Like, why are her shoes hanging? But because it's been a few years now. But I told her, she's like, well, you need to think of a product, like, to be known for, she's like, the breast cancer awareness ribbons, or like, something. And I was like, well, tennis shoes. She's like, no, something that people can afford. So I'm like thinking about how all of us women are out there from all different walks of life, all over the United States and Mexico, and all different crimes. Yet we're still there trying to be grounded for one purpose, to get our minds and everything healthy and right to move on from this. And I'm like, we're tied together, but we're not alone. I was like, we're tied together, but we're not K-N-O-T. We're not alone. Damn it, I'm doing shoelaces.
Excellent.
So my
Excellent.
laces, I should have some right here somewhere, are two different colors, and they overlap each other because this brown color was the color of the dirt track, like the exact color of the dirt track. And I always told everybody to look up, like, quit looking down. Stop looking down on yourself. Like, look up. And I used to say, because the sky is the limit, which I don't even believe that anymore. That's not even true. It's
so beyond that.
There is no limits. But I love these laces. And you're right. Everybody, now that I'm back at the restaurant 2 days a week for fun, everybody comments about my shoelaces. I'm like, oh, funny. Go check them out. Go check out my story. Because it's a pretty
where can they find you? Where can they get those shoelaces? Where can they hear a little bit more about this program and how they can support you?
So our website is just walkitoutfoundation.org. And I have like my website there. It's just one page. It's a one-stop shop, but I've got an apparel store there as well. But the laces are actually on Amazon. Just like you can search Walk It Out or Walk It Out Foundation or Walk It Out Laces, but they're all there. And we have children, we have youth and adult sizes. So that's really cool because I'm really, like I said, I'm really focusing on the kids.
Amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. You are such an angel. Like, seriously, I'm so grateful that we were introduced to each other. I'm so grateful that we know each other. And thank you so much for sharing your story.
Absolutely.
And inspiring people to take a tragedy or something that is very difficult or a challenge in their life and turn it into magic. Like, that's exactly what you did. And this is how people thrive.
To realize that there's an actual, I mean, I said for 2 years, there has to be a reason.
And here it is.
There was a dang reason. So never like give up on that intuition, like always lean into that because eventually, because I'm just getting started.
I love it. Well, Lindsay, I'll have you back again for sure on another podcast. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. And I'm always cheering you on in any way that I can support you. Please just let me know.
I love you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye for now. Bye.
If you think this video can help a friend, make sure you share it.